Throughout history, music has been a central part of the life and customs of many cultures. From celebration to worship, people have been creating and consuming music for a long time. Up until the late 1800s, the only way to enjoy music was live. Theaters or churches were some of the places that music was limited to. Then, in the 1880s, after Edison's invention of the phonograph parlors became the place to listen to songs. In the 1920s, broadcast radio became the new thing. By the end of the decade, record sales were on the decline, however. During World War II, due to a lack of shellac supplies, which was used to make records previously, vinyl was a new way to listen, and vinyl records were sent out to troops in the war. In the coming decades, the way we would listen to music would continue to evolve, with the compact cassette being invented in the 60s. Then in 1964, the 8-track tape. Next, in 1979, the Walkman was invented, which would be the first major portable cassette player. Finally, ABBA's The Visitors was the first pop album sold in CD format in 1981, and the CD dominated for a while after. When we were rushed into the digital age of music by the MP3, which was created in the late 80s. Then the creation of the iPod and the iTunes Store. This prompted the growth of the internet radio, such as Pandora, which was created to be able to listen to music without having to pay for each song or download music, as you had to with iTunes. 1 year after the release of the iPhone in 2007, Spotify premiered. So now that the history of music consumption is out of the way, let's talk about the environmental impact. The physical copies of music did a number on plastic pollution, as you can imagine. According to a study conducted by the University of Glasgow and the University of Oslo, 1977 was the peak of vinyl record sales in the US, and the recording industry used 58 million kilograms of plastic that year. In 1988, which was the US peak of cassette sales, 56 million kilograms were used. During the peak of CD sales in 2000, 61 million kilograms of plastic were used. So you might be thinking after hearing that the carbon footprint of the music industry would have decreased after this, right? Well, not really. Dr. Kyle Devine, an associate professor in music from the University of Oslo, says, quote, "These figures seem to confirm the widespread notion that digitalized music is dematerialized. The figures may even suggest that the rises of downloading and streaming are making music more environmentally friendly. But a very different picture emerges when we think about the energy used to power online music listening. Storing and processing music online uses a tremendous amount of resources and energy, which a high impact on the environment." End quote. Although the plastic consumption of the US music industry might have dropped drastically, the carbon footprint has not. During the previous years listed of peak sales of various music listening mediums, the amount of greenhouse gases have been 140 million kilograms in 1977 and 136 million in 1988, 157 million in 2000. However, in 2016, quote, "The generation of greenhouse gases by storing and transmitting digital files for those listening to music online is estimated to be between 200 million kilograms and over 350 million kilograms in the US alone." End quote. As you can see, streaming music on your device isn't exactly as eco-friendly as we might have thought. So what should we do with this information? Well, Dr. Matt Brennan, a reader in popular music from the University of Glasgow, says regarding this study, quote, "We see raising awareness for the findings as the first step towards developing alternatives, where music consumption can become both economically sustainable for makers while being environmentally sustainable for the planet." End quote. With every cause and issue, spreading information and awareness is the beginning to change, in my opinion. Before looking into this, I had never even thought about what kind of effects music streaming might have. The more we spread awareness about these kind of issues, and the more we can make change in the way that we think and approach things in our daily lives, and we can return the legacy of the earth that we leave into a more positive one.